Europe's last free nation was swept away by a wave of tyranny. The lifeboat of democracy, lost in a storm of war. After the division of Poland, the Soviet Union's armies stayed peacefully behind their borders, while the United States, still upset over England's failed invasion of Norway, fully embraced isolationism. The Germans, emboldened by good weather and by Britain's Italian distractions in the Mediterranean, cleared the way for a direct assault, pummeling the capital with overwhelming air power as part of the most intricately coordinated assault yet seen in the war. They took the channel within hours, establishing supply chains to support the thousands of paratroopers now on British soil. British forces fought them in the fields and in the streets. But soon, London had fallen, and with it, the sun had finally set on the British Empire. But as the sun rose on a Germany eager to stamp out the stubborn English resistance, it also rose over an envious power in the Soviet Union.
Alone we stood against fascism. Alone we drove the German invader from Stalingrad. Alone we prepare to march west. We stand on the edge of victory. But an old enemy has returned to its backstabbing ways. Japan and its puppets resist the workers' revolution in China. The rising sun is plunging its dagger into our exposed eastern lands. The Soviet Union stands alone against imperialism. We can rely on no one. We shall defeat the Japanese as we have defeated the Germans. The Soviet workers are unconquered. We are unconquerable. If we must win this next war alone, we shall do that too.
Three winters ago, Soviet forces conquered the German capital of Berlin. Now, with Hitler in exile, the Soviets' puppet regime rules from the Kronper. With the Soviet focus on the West, Japan has been free to continue their aggressive expansion, threatening our allies in the region. On the home front, men and women are working around the clock, producing guns, tanks, and supplies to aid the remaining free nations of Europe, while building our own forces to counter the ever-rising threat of war. Should the communists dominate Europe and Africa, and the Japanese in Asia and the Pacific, then the claws of tyranny will soon grasp for the light of American democracy. Our attempts to avoid war have proven futile. As the enemy continues to enslave the nations of the world, capturing more natural resources critical to the advancement of mankind, we must take action. The time for conflict is upon us. How long can the U.S. hope to avoid the cost of war on its shores?
We labored for you in the Great War, and you rewarded us with empty promises. We slowly dragged our nation into the modern age, and you used every opportunity to exploit us. We warned you of the Japanese imperialists, and You cowered behind your appeasements. We have been bleeding and dying in ditches for years. You haven't lifted a finger to aid us. Now, our war is your war. We stand together against the nation that threatens the continent. We'll push back the invader, side by side, for now. But we will never forget the price China paid for its freedom.
Claude, my darling, by now you have heard that the Germans have discovered our operation, and I fear they will soon get their way. We still wait for words from our friends overseas. We tell them what we know, and yet we are starved of resources. If this is to be my last letter to you, know that I have no regrets. For I wish to be as brave as all those who have gone before me. All those who fought for France. Be brave, mon amour. Vive la résistance.